Hey guys, it's Christina of CraftyPaws. I wanted to come on and share a layout. It is also an entry into Tina G's Almost 1000 Subbie giveaway challenge. There are lots of ways to participate. I'm going to put a link in the description box below to her challenge video so you guys can check out all the details for yourself. I chose to do a layout because I really wanted to scrap these couple of pictures from our Florida beach vacation that we took a couple of weeks ago. These shots were of Skit and Bandito and me during one of our daily walks along the beach. We walked for, I'd say, a good hour each day, which was a big deal, especially for Biscuit, who is 14 years old. Let me tell you about the various aspects of this layout, but I will also attach here parts of the process video of making this layout. I didn't include all of the kind of layering of background papers because it was really, really long of me just swapping in and out different scraps of paper from my scrap box. So the background paper that I started with is this DCWV Photo Reel Season Stack, which I have had in my stash for years. Then I layered up background pieces behind these two photos, which I matted using this Sizzix die set. This is called I Heart This, and I used this one right here. I also inlaid the I Heart This, the letters here. I die cut it out again using some teal paper, and I inlaid all of those pieces just using some wet glue. Then I didn't want them both to say the same thing, so I wanted this one to say the hello, and I die cut that out. And then for this die cut, I used this die from this Little Yellow Bicycle word die set, and I just used the love, which I die cut out 3 times and then glued all together so it would look more like a thicker. And then I inked the edges of that as well with peacock feathers. Before I connect to the process part of this video, I thought I would go through real quick and point out all the parts of the layout that meet the various guidelines from Tina's layout challenge. And that is to include yellow. So I included this yellow polka dot paper, and to use a stencil or die cut. And I use these die cuts for these photo frames as well as for this word love. I also used paint and or spray. I used white acrylic paint that I watered down, some ink from a Hero Arts dauber for the kind of tide pool color. And then I have some light misting with a recollection spray that I had. I just misted it here and here. The paper is kind of glossy where the water part of the image is, so different sprays and inks didn't dry here very well. The acrylic paint did, so I limited my spraying and my inking to just kind of the sand areas of the photo. And then lastly, she said to add ribbon or thread, so I included this, I guess thread is, hopefully it would include baker's twine because I use this pale blue and white baker's twine, and I just jumbled it behind this little embellishment area, this corner here, and this corner here. Now I'll just attach the process video. I hope you guys enjoy it. Here I'm gluing together the die cut word love out. I'm using Aleene's Original Tacky Glue, and that makes it really nice and thick, like a thicker. I also decided to use some crepe paper. This is the kind of crepe paper you get in the party store or the party section of a craft store. And, you know, people use it for streamers. And I saw this and, oh yeah, it's Jen's channel. And I love the way she box pleated it, just using some glue and pleating it with my fingers. And I think it makes a really, really pretty kind of ruffly look, which I thought complemented the image of the waves in the background paper. You know, they're both kind of soft where the foamy white parts are of the picture, and then this ruffle. And I realized I think it's just a little bit too long, so I decided to cut just probably about 1/4 of an inch off. And I like that much better. Then I start to glue on, you've seen me use this before, a little strand of seashells. This was a necklace that was gifted to me by Carrie Lovecat. And I really just love using these tiny little seashells that's already on a string to make a little trim here. Now you'll see me having to cut off the string and take off a few of the seashells at the end and glue them down singly. And that's just because I want to be careful and make sure the seashells are all turned down so that the openings aren't turned up. And that's just for, you know, appealing to my OCD-ness. I didn't like all the seashells turned in different directions. And I'm doing the same thing onto the little embellishment piece that I made for the lower part of the layout. I skipped over, I think, the putting on the little crepe paper on that piece, but you saw how I did it. Here I'm using some Hero Arts Tide Pool ink, and I believe I got this from Oh Snap Gonzo. And I'm just using a little pipette there to give the little sprinkles. And I'm using my heat gun to dry that a little bit. You'll see later that I actually end up having to wipe off, maybe you don't see it, I wiped off some of the ink from the glossier part of the background paper. Yeah, there you go. And I also, you just saw me show you the spray. It's a recollection spray that I use for the background, just to have a nice misty look where the green splotches were. And then I thought the green is just too dark, so I used some watered down white acrylic paint, and I just used a paintbrush to add drips. And you see me bringing back and forth the pictures just so I can see where the drops are going to be visible and not visible. And I'm adding more and more of the white drops. I think I like it at that point. And here I'm just, again, using my heat tool to dry that off. And then I'm taking some baker's twine. This is a pale blue that I thought coordinated nicely with the color of the water, and white. And I'm just jumbling it up there and taping it down when I like the positioning of it. And I decide I'm gonna do, I think, 2 more little batches of this baker's twine, just in kind of a, I guess, orchestrated little mess. And you'll see again that I bring it down, I tape it down, because I'm gonna be using my ATG gun to put the picture, the matted pictures down. But yeah, that's me just taping it down just to get the positioning the way I like it. And then I decide it needs a little something else. So I get a little rosette, a little white rosette, and I glue that down. And I glue down also a starfish. It's not a real starfish, it's a man-made one. And that was also in a prize package from Carrie Lovecat. And I had some other little seashells. I used a couple of the tiny ones from that strand and then some loose seashells just to add, I don't know, some more points of interest, like I would use enamel dots or sequins or something. If you enjoyed this process video, please give it a thumbs up, and thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a wonderful crafty day.